What it takes to become you, Neha, the entrepreneur. What it takes to become you.
What it takes to become me, I would say consistency and showing up every single day, which means I think discipline, right? A lot of times people ask me things like, for example, I'll give you a small example, a gym example. How much time will I take to enter a gym and lose this much weight? That's not the kind of question you must ask. You must ask what it takes to stay consistent. How do you wake up at 5:30 every morning, right?
I've
That
been thinking
is
about
the
that question
most
for a long
difficult.
time now.
That is the most difficult thing.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
showing up for yourself, this I think is what I never fail. I show up for myself.
Okay, what is that one bold decision or the boldest decision that you've ever taken, which made you scared also, but changed everything? Starting
Getting,
Fitzy?
yes, quitting my very well settled career to get into entrepreneurship, moving to another country, just believing in the vision of the man I just met in the gym. I think all of that together was the biggest risk I have taken, the biggest risk. And if I am here today, I think success is mostly for people who take risk, you know. The bigger the risk, the bigger the success. You know, it can go the other way also, but that's what is risk, right? So I think that was the biggest
ये
risk I
सुनने में
took.
बड़ा philosophical लगता है. Are you a philosopher?
Um, I just think about everything. I just analyze things, you know. Like for example, you asked me a question, what was the most, bold step I took, and I think it shook my soul when I did that. You know, I came here and landed in Dera and looking at things. Acha rent bharna hai, license cost this much. I took 2 loans to do my business. It shook me. You know, I had no family support. So many friends, so many family members said, "What are you doing? Leaving your career, running behind a guy." So I think I don't need to be a philosopher to identify, dude, you took a very big risk, Neha, 10 years ago. Thank God you took that, but that was a big one. If it would have gone the other way, I don't know where would have I been, but
Do you
yeah.
still keep on thinking about things a lot?
Think about things a lot in the sense I think about things a lot, yes, because that's the only way I measure where I was, where I am, and my success. So only when you look behind from where you've come and to where you are is when you will understand your success. Not looking there, I want to go there. If you think about that, then you're always going to think, yaar, kuch nahi kiya. I've never done anything. I've never done anything. So always think about where you come from and where you are now. So for that reason, I always think about things.
But aren't you contradicting yourself? You say vision all the time, and then now you're saying if I keep on looking there, I won't be
These are
able to
two
be.
different things.
Okay.
Vision is for where you want to be, okay, where you want to go, what you want to build. And looking behind is to understand how far you've come, right? With only vision, you will always say, oh, because you're going to set high visions for yourself, not a small one, ki bhai coffee, I'm going to make a coffee and I'm going to have a coffee. High, big visions. So for that big vision, you always need to look back and acha, okay, I've done something, you know. If you don't have that, you're going to have a lot of anxiety. You're going to be lost. Oh my God, I'm not able to do it. I'm nowhere. And you're also possibly going to drop off. So always look behind. Okay, I've achieved this much. Okay, I've achieved this much. Okay, I started here, now I'm here. So these are two different things.
You quoted Shah Rukh once. I'm going to quote him again, and he said, "Philosopher तब बनो जब तुम्हारे पास बहुत सारे पैसे हो."
हाँ,
You agree with that?
मेरे पास नहीं है, फिर भी मैं हूँ.
So you don't agree with that? Okay.
No, what he's saying is amazing. It's right. But you invited me on this podcast, so I'm going to put my
Of course,
thoughts
why
out.
not? Why not? It's all for you. Okay, social media. That's one thing that we haven't really talked about. So, how has being on social media changed your identity or shaped your identity?
It took time for me to understand what I want to do on social media. I am not an entertainer. I don't have those kind of talents where, either I'm a sportswoman or I'm a fitness instructor or I'm a choreographer, I'm a dancer, I'm a singer. I can't make any quality content on fashion. So it took me a lot of time to understand where am I fitting, First I started with, and also the kind of um, content I want to put out? How do I want to shoot stuff? Do I want to enact? Do I want to just write a message out? What kind of media? So it took me a lot of time to evolve there. Initially, I didn't know I can use my platform to talk about my experiences. I didn't know I can talk about my business. I didn't know I can empower women. I just started as, fun content creator. Slowly and steadily, I've evolved, and now I know that I can also be an influencer and not have those kind of skills or talent. Because influencer means you talk about something you believe in strongly, right? And people need to see it. And even if one person says, oh, you know what, I can relate to this, or you know what, I learned something over here. It can be something very simple. It took me time to reach here and understand. And now I can proudly say that I'm using my platform in a right way, because I talk things that I believe, that I myself follow. And yeah.
Do you get trolled on social media?
Uh, I honestly do a lot of things which a lot of people don't relate to very easily. Like, for example, if I were cooking something, a lot of trolling would have happened. I would have done some makeup things, a lot of trolling would have happened. A fashion, a lot of trolling. But I do a lot of things that are not mainstream. I usually talk a lot about fitness. I talk about protein. I talk about creatine. I talk about the business. I talk about podcast. So, but yeah, sometimes when I get trolled, those are very like strong messages that I get. For example, people say you're privileged. Now it's easy for you to say things. When you see someone, successful in life, or you feel that person's privileged, now this must be my decision that I took 10 years ago, which is why you see the result now. For example, in my scenario, 10 years ago I decided I want to do my business, I want to quit, and I want to take that big risk, which is why I'm here. That's why you can say that I'm privileged today, right? So I do get trolled in a lot of ways, but I also feel that there is a need that I go and understand from where they are coming from. They haven't tried these things, that's why they're saying these things. Maybe I can change their perspective. I try to do that. A lot of times I win, a lot of times I don't.
Okay, बस इतना अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनना है लाइफ में कि ट्रोल्स को भी आप इग्नोर कर दो, इतना
Ignore
अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनना
to
है.
ignore a woman, especially. For everybody that's the case, but if you want to get out of your comfort zone, do something for yourself, एक ही चीज़ को भूल जाओ, which is वो लोग जो आप सोचते हो लोग क्या कहेंगे, like that लोग,
Crab
उनको भूल
mentality,
जाओ.
basically, people trying to pull you down.
कुछ भी हो, कुछ भी हो, वो बोलेंगे कि अरे be careful. Like, I get very annoyed when people, oh, be careful. I was playing violin and somebody messaged me, be careful about your back. Like, यार violin में क्या हो जाएगा back को, So you just have to not worry about what people say. For a woman तो especially, So अगर वो master कर लिया तो अब social media पे कौन क्या बोल रहा है, how does it matter?
कोई troll याद है, कोई comment याद है?
ये recently हुआ था privilege वाला.
Okay.
So
Does it keep on happening regularly, on a regular basis, this particular thing, privilege?
I just posted a reel on this motherhood thing. There was something that I posted and said it's very easy for you to say because you're privileged. And then I got over 20-30 likes on that comment.
Okay.
So which means that 20-30 women are trying to say the same thing to me, You're very privileged. So for you, motherhood is easy. For us, it's not easy. It's not easy for me either. So yeah, that's a different topic, but yeah. Happens.
Okay. So what is one advice that you would want to give to all the trolls that have been trolling you?
Nothing, I think. I mean, they are going to troll anyway. वो तो काम है. That's their... they're talking about themselves there. They're not talking about me. They don't even know me. So I don't think there is any advice that I can give to the trollers and they're going to stop and not do that. All I can give advice is to the people who are on the other side, who are facing it. Think about that day when you started. You didn't start for them, for what they will say to you. Will they say good things to you? They are not the ones who are helping you grow in your life. So I would have suggestion for them, ignore karo.
So what's your take on cyberbullying, and does it really happen in Dubai?
Wouldn't specifically say it happens in Dubai because internet is such a thing which is, worldwide,
yeah.
right? So, of course it happens. One thing that I've understood is you don't have to be shy about anything or feel bad about something that someone else is doing to you, right? You need to know yourself, have that trust in yourself, and stand for yourself. For me, it's very simple. If I see someone's talking really wrong stuff and I see that in the DM, that's the pattern, that this person spoke once wrong, and then second time, third time, I immediately put him into a general folder. And if needed, I also block that person.
Okay.
You have social media, it gives you so much access of doing so many things. Now I am a small content creator, so for me it's easy to do these things, right? And the bigger ones, I think, shouldn't mind whatever is happening.
Okay, cool. We talk about content creation. Let's talk about CarCast. You touched upon it, and that is one segment that I actually liked. We saw the videos before starting the interview, and I could really connect to that. So how did it start, and where you are thinking of taking it to?
Yeah. We start in the morning from our house. Me and my husband, we are in the same car always because we're going same places every time. We work out together. We go to office together. Home is together.
कैसे कर लेते हो आप लोग? मैं नहीं समझ पाता ये भाई. 24 hours around the same person. I mean, okay, it gives me the chills.
So there's a lot of time that we have together, and when we're in office or in gym, we don't get time to talk. Ghar pe bhi things are so busy, we don't get time to. So car is where we get time to talk. Now a lot of times I've put a perspective in front of my husband, which I might have also discussed with my best friends or discussed with, any other woman in my life, my sister, my mother. The perspective I get from a man is so different from everything else, right? And I always had this gut feeling that his perspective is so different, but I never thought I want to put this out, right, earlier. And then it started happening very often, and I said, you know what, Neha, you have a platform, you have social media, you know how to make videos, why don't you put this man's perspective out? And when I got very sure about this is when then I started meeting my gym instructor, and he also usually has same perspective like my husband. Many men have same perspective. For example, what do you think about Virat Kohli? My husband would say the same thing. The trainer would say the same thing. Other male, colleagues would say the same thing. I said, you know what? I need to get this out. This is not out on social media anywhere. I need to get this out. That's where I started the series called Making a Man Talk, where I ask one question to my husband. Questions like, what different you want to do as a father? What success means to every man? What Virat Kohli means to every man? Those kind of questions which are very, which you guys don't, talk about a lot.
Yeah, true.
And it started getting viral. Men started, relating to it and loving it. And yeah, that's how it is. And
it is very relatable.
And
Very.
thank you. And you asked me where I see this going. Nowhere. I don't have any plans as such. We both don't have any plans as such. We just want to make videos where people love. It's a different content, fresh content. People can relate to it. And then, some people also find it very informative and helpful. I think that's it. Abhi filal, this is where we are at. I don't know where it is going to go.
Okay, 3 advices that you want to give to any woman who wants to start their own business as a brand or online.
One is don't wait for the right time. There is never going to be right time. Second is don't think about what others are going to say. If you think you can do it, just go for it. Third thing is you will get everything your way. You will get whatever you need, your investors, you will get, tools, you'll get right people, right team, everything comes your way. You just need to show up for yourself. So I think these 3 things.